Welcome to Digital Shoptalk. I am your co-host, Josh Allen. Alex Porter is traveling again this week. He's a busy man to start off 2016. I want to say again a quick shout out to Andrew Beckman, our chairman, and Michael Gelman, CEO of Spire Digital, for graciously stepping in for both of us on the last episode. Some really great insights from their perspectives going into 2016. Today I'm joined by Lucia Novara, our head of content and creative services at Location3. We're going to jump kind of right into the news. And speaking of content marketing, content strategy, I think is a big thing that as we look forward to 2016 and even coming out of last year, a lot of big brands, a lot of marketers, and even agencies kind of, I don't want to say struggle, but are still trying to wrap their head around content strategy in general. And so from a news perspective, the Content Marketing Institute, great resource, came out with this study that said essentially, from groups that they surveyed, only 30% of brand marketers say their organizations do content strategy well. Pretty astounding number considering how everyone talks about content. Content is king, I think, was the buzz phrase of like 2014, 2 years ago. What are your thoughts on this?
Well, I think it shows that it's still a young offering. We're still really trying to figure this out, and a lot of people are still trying to figure it out. But what a lot of this looks like is that going back to we need documented goals and we need documented strategies. And one of the things that shocked me was that less B2B marketers are actually documenting their strategies, even though it's been clearly shown that having a documented content strategy is tied to success. And also that people are saying that they think they were less effective at content marketing this year than they were last year. It went down from 38% to 30%. So, that just points to the fact that we're still a new service offering in the scheme of the digital universe, and anything moving forward has to be about strategy and goal setting. But the good news is that 72% of people cite creating engaging content as their top goal. So At least we're moving in the right direction in terms of knowing that effective, engaging content is where we want to be. So
if I'm a brand, right, when we talk about documenting the strategy, where do you think, in a lot of ways, is kind of the starting point? When you sit down to say, okay, we want to develop a content strategy, what's step number one?
Absolutely, research is sometimes people already have it in hand. We know exactly who we're trying to talk to. And other times we have an idea of who we are trying to talk to, but we need some help figuring it out and defining the personas and defining what their behavior online looks like and where we should be trying to intersect with them.
Nice.
Also, sometimes we'll look at what's going on in analytics and be able to say, hey, the people that you think are coming to your site the most aren't actually the people that are there. There are a ton more younger people coming to your site. There are a ton more people accessing this on mobile. And that can really inform what you're trying to do with content in terms of shorter form or, just switching up the demographic a little bit.
Nice. So we haven't gotten to the toolkit yet, but that was some bonus toolkit material. We'll be right back. All right, we are back with the toolkit. Again, gave you some bonus content before, no pun intended. So what we want to think about too, when we're talking about the toolkit today, really the top 3 content opportunities in 2016. One I personally believe, and I think as an agency we have really pushed, is video content. Every year, at least over the last couple of years, much like mobile, everyone's saying this is the year of video. We're going to kind of draw a line in the sand and say we really think 2016 is the year of video. As a brand marketer, if you don't have a line item in your budget for video content, even if that's something as simple as display content advertising, if you will, on video, it's something that needs to be there. But leveraging even potentially existing content opportunities in video format. So for me, video is a big piece. What do you think is kind of big this year?
I definitely agree that, a huge number of people, I think 50% of people, mobile traffic is video.
Huge.
I mean, it's too big to ignore anymore. And also we're seeing that a lot of executives and a lot of decision makers in business are also choosing to watch a video over read an article. Yep. And so, I think that has a lot of implications in the B2B space, that it's not just cat videos. You should be producing video content for every demographic.
Yeah, and another thing I think too is real-time content marketing. So whether it's using video, whether it's using visual imagery, probably when you think about real-time content marketing, it's kind of this fluid environment. It probably requires a dedicated social team, if you will, in terms of content distribution. The best example, we're coming up on the Super Bowl here in a few days. Was a couple years ago when Oreo tweeted out the image after the lights went out in New Orleans during the Super Bowl, saying you can still dunk in the dark. So taking advantage of real-time opportunities, but I think a big piece of that has to be a natural fit with your brand and whatever that newsworthy or real-time event is that's occurring.
Absolutely. And I think it can be really daunting to people to talk about this because it's like, oh, we need to be on 24/7. Our teams need to be looking for these opportunities. And it's kind of like, oh, we can't do that. We don't have the resources for that. And I think a different way to think about it is more as responsive marketing of we know something's coming up that is relevant to us, that we want to be associated with, and gearing and strategizing so that when that event occurs, you have things in place, you have people in place, and that's just a lot smarter marketing than hoping that the intern is watching at the right time and tweets the right thing.
Sitting on the couch, knocking tweets out.
Yeah. So a good example is last year with the Oscars, Pantene had a whole team of people, sketch artists and stylists, watching the red carpet, and they immediately would sketch the woman, the celebrity in her outfit and her hair, and give a quick tutorial on how to do that, and then would tweet that out. Wow. So I mean, that is real-time marketing, but that was probably planned and staffed and thought about for months ahead of the Oscars.
Which goes through your point earlier about really kind of documenting a strategy and having a plan in place that allows you to captivate on those opportunities. So last, I think the big thing, transparency. This is a big thing, big topic for you around content marketing. Tell us some more about this.
Yeah, I think it's a real opportunity in 2016 because a very small percentage of organizations are embracing it. And the idea is that there is so much information available and people are so used to getting all of the information before they make a business decision that holding any information close to your chest, besides, the secret sauce, is just not worth it. And if you can be the person who's ahead of your field and say, this is how much it costs to do this. You can really set yourself apart and provide a lot of value to consumers. So the classic example of this is Marcus Sheridan, the sales lion, where he pulled his pool business up out of almost failure by being the first person in the pool industry to say this is how much a fiberglass pool costs. No one wanted to put that number out there. And he said these are all the factors that go into it, and he became like that page is the king of fiberglass pools. And it was forever that the industry didn't want to do that. So I think it's important, especially when you have a product that people are going to get 3 bids for it. No one's going to just say, yeah, put my pool in. Like, they're going to research that information. So why not make it easier for them?
Especially a high-ticket item. The other one I think of, just as we're talking about this, is Southwest, the transparency. I mean, they've even taken it to a whole new level and branded it in a certain way, but not just transparency in price, but what you can kind of expect and all the content that supports that, whether that's the service aspect, the key features of a product or anything that goes along with it. Great stuff. So plan your content in 2016, be transparent, and I think be nimble to take advantage of those real-time content marketing opportunities.
Absolutely.
All right, in this week's upvote, we mentioned earlier it is Super Bowl week. The Super Bowl is coming up in a couple of days. Our hometown Denver Broncos are playing, so we hope they smack Carolina. There have been a lot of Super Bowl ad spoilers. That seems, speaking of content marketing, everyone's starting to push their Super Bowl ads out even before the big game. If you're not a fan of Super Bowl spoilers, just mute and walk away from the screen right now, because our upvote, turn off YouTube, because they're everywhere. But our upvote goes for the new Audi Super Bowl commercial. Not so much for Audi, but mostly because it features some David Bowie. Rest in peace. Check it out right now.
Mr. President, thank you for choosing the moon.
Oh, this view is magnificent. This has to be the proudest day of our lives.
Not hungry, huh? Is he eating?
Nope.
Okay, Commander. Come with me.
Roger. Stand by for 10-second countdown. Eagle looking great. You're down. Roger. Looks great, Houston.
6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Liftoff. We have liftoff.
So yes, fantastic spot from Audi. I think you mentioned earlier you don't know if you want.
I don't know if I'd give that 85-year-old the keys and let him drive me at 100 miles an hour in the dark, but that's just me.
It looks like a fast car. That's it for this week's episode. Thanks again, Lucia, for stepping in for Alex. Tweeted us using the hashtag Digital Shop Talk at Location3. Everybody enjoy the Super Bowl out there. Go Broncos.
Woo!
We'll see you next time.